Evening. Good evening. I'd just like to say a few words before we start the dinner, and certainly before we have our distinguished presentation this evening. My name's Stephen Hornsby. I know I've met some of you. I'm the director of the Canadian American Centre at the university, and we are the hosts, the co-hosts with the Maine International Trade Centre. And it's really wonderful to welcome you to this international conference on ocean technology in New England and Atlantic Canada, promoting a network of collaboration. This is actually our second cross-border conference organized in cooperation with the Maine International Trade Centre. Our first, 4 years ago, focused on cross-border economic ties in the Northeast. And that conference was certainly memorable for several reasons, not least because we had a public demonstration against one of the speakers who was promoting the East-West Highway. I will say no more. And campus security had to be called to keep the protesters out of the conference room. Well, this is obviously a very rare event now in the 21st century at a university conference, and I'm not anticipating any trouble tomorrow. Well, this second conference is much more focused and looks at the exciting developments in ocean technology that are taking place in our shared and joint maritime region. With speakers from business, government, media, and Canadian American universities, including the University of Maine, we think we have put together a stimulating and innovative program, which we hope will encourage cross-border dialogue, networking, and provide information for the general public. There are some acknowledgements which I'd like to just give now to Stefano Tiarina, who will be joining us tomorrow of the Canadian Studies program, who worked very closely with Jeff Bennett of the Maine International Trade Centre. Jeff, some of you may know him, is not here. He's got hardship duty in Brussels, Belgium, sampling Belgian chocolate, I think, for the MITC. So he sends his warm regards. But it was basically Jeff and Stefano who devised and organized much of the conference program. And I'd also like to acknowledge two of my center staff, Betsy Arnson, who will be joining us tomorrow, and Stephanie Crosby, who you've already met, who handled much of the logistics. The conference would not have been possible without financial support, and I'd just like to acknowledge the generous sponsorship of TD Bank. They sponsored the conference 4 years ago and have provided sponsorship for this meeting. The reception we've just had was sponsored by the Canadian Consulate in Boston. We've also received funding from the US Department of Education, Title VI program, which supports our center, and from the Maine Sea Grant program at the University of Maine. Well, those are my welcome remarks. I'd now like to ask Dana Eidsness, Director of the Maine North Atlantic Development Office at the Maine International Trade Centre, to come up and say a few words of welcome. Dana.
Thanks very much. Consuls General, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and I think you're all quite distinguished. Just want to welcome you here tonight. This is the Maine International Trade Center. Welcome. As we just heard, Jeff Bennett, he's very unhappy to not be here with us, but he is in Brussels at the Brussels Seafood Expo, actually, with a group of Maine businesses. So he's working hard, but I'm sure he's in a lovely environment. Want to acknowledge my colleague Wade Merritt here, Vice President of the Maine International Trade Center, whom you'll have time to engage with over the next day and a half. So my remarks are quite informal. I just, I run the North Atlantic Development Office for the Maine International Trade Center, and in that role, I build networks between Maine businesses and businesses throughout the North Atlantic region. I go to a lot of trade shows, conferences. I organize participation in trade missions and whatnot. And so, we do bring a group up to the DEFSAC Atlantic Conference in Halifax each year. A lot of our clients meet with Canadians on a regular basis. I hear good things about Memorial University. and things going on in PEI. And everyone we work with who connects with Canada is inspired by our Canadian partners and feels very much connected to them. So I think there's shared passion and excitement and synergy in our ocean tech and marine transportation sectors. And I just want to throw an idea out there tonight that Maine and Atlantic Canada can be a powerful region of innovation. Maybe that's too big an idea for this conference, but I think it's a good starting place. I think we're stronger together, and that we're stronger together when we connect over R&D, product development, commercialization, marketing ourselves as a region, and in connecting our supply chains. And so with this conference, and we've been delighted to work with the Canadian American Studies Center, we've come together and decided to come together with a purpose to seek opportunities for collaboration. So I hope that over the next day and a half that what you hear tomorrow will inspire you. I hope that you'll come away with some best practices. I hope that you'll come away with some new ideas and action items for following up with one another. And I hope that in the end, we'll all feel very connected. And I should have brought my glass up here. I wanted to raise a toast to all of us because as I look around the room, I see some people I've known for a very long time. I think there's someone in this room who I knew before I was even married, and that was 20 years ago. And there are some new faces as well. So if I had my glass here, I would raise a toast and say, here's to new and old friends, and here's to possibilities. And I hope this next day is very productive for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana, for those inspiring comments, and please enjoy your meal, and a bit later I'll introduce our distinguished plenary speaker. Thank you.